Hello everyone, welcome to Achievers IAS classes. Let's begin our discussion on the current events of 8th September 2018. The first issue in news is regarding the India Post Payments Bank. The primary aim behind the Public Payment Bank idea is to help the government in achieving its goal of financial inclusion by providing savings, remittance and payment services to the rural and unorganized sectors of the country. The Indian Post Payment Bank will operate under the age-old postal department, and it will be able to accept deposits up to 1 lakh rupees from the customers, but it cannot use these funds to advance risky loans at higher interest rates. The payments bank will also have a digital platform that is expected to make financial services more accessible even from remote locations. Through the payments bank, it is expected that the postal system too will be revived. However, the big challenge facing the new public payments bank is whether it can manage to earn profits required to survive as a business entity. This is because there are severe restrictions imposed by the Reserve Bank of India on how the payments bank can utilize their funds, and also the model remains untested, as well as the private players like Airtel, Paytm and Fino have not made any significant impact in the market. The Indian Post Payment Bank promises to pay an interest rate of 4% to its savings account holders, and in this regard, it plans to charge fees on money transfers and other financial services, at the same time investing the idle customer deposits in the safe government securities. But it remains to be seen whether it will be enough to cover the interest and operational costs of the India Post Payments Bank. Also, there is a challenge of increasing competition from the private companies, which are more nimble in adapting to business realities and far more customer friendly, thereby adding to the pressure on the revenues of the payments bank. In spite of all these challenges, if the new payments bank were to succeed, it would usher in a new era of rapid financial inclusion across the rural and unbanked areas, which is the primary motive behind the bank. On that note, let's move to the next issue, which is regarding the Mobilize Your City agreement signed between India and France. The agreement is aimed at improving the technical assistance and supporting three pilot cities, which is Nagpur, Kochi, and Ahmedabad, for the reduction of greenhouse gases related to urban transport. The main components of the proposed assistance include planning and implementation of sustainable urban transport projects, support to strengthening institutional capacity for regulating, steering, and planning urban mobility, and finally, learning and exchanging formats with other cities across the country for exchanges on best practices. In a related development, the Niti Aayog, along with the Boston Consulting Group, has come out with Transforming India's Mobility, a perspective report to answer the twin problems of pollution and congestion in urban areas by suggesting efficient and convenient public transport. Given the rising fuel prices, it comes at a significant time, and the Prime Minister has put forth the seven C's for the future of mobility, that is, common, connected, convenient, congestion free, charged, clean, and cutting edge technology. The Niti Aayog has said that the number of motor vehicles in India has grown by over 40 times in the last 44 years, mainly due to absence of public transport system, which has led to a rapid rise in private vehicle ownership. Due to this, the four big metro of the country has lost over $22 billion due to traffic congestion. Therefore, the report emphasizes on safe, adequate, holistic infrastructure and a push for public transport to overcome the issues which we just discussed. The next issue in news is an editorial regarding the 2+2 dialogue between India and US. As we have already discussed, the two countries have signed three agreements, namely the Communications Compatibility and Security Agreement, the agreement to establish hotlines between the defense and foreign ministers of both countries, and the first tri-service military exercises to be held between the two countries. Among these, the Communications Compatibility and Security Agreement is the third of the four foundational or enabling agreements which is signed by India due to the large amount of US defense hardware it has been purchasing in the recent past. Apart from the defense agreements, both sides have discussed on several other issues ranging from bilateral trade to cooperation of fighting terrorism, sustainable debt financing, and finally, towards an open and inclusive Indo-Pacific region. Some of these are clearly aimed at tackling Beijing's role in the South China Sea and the Belt and Road Initiative projects. However, India did not receive a clear-cut assurance on its generalized system of preferences status or of the waivers on the steel and aluminum tariffs imposed by the US, but instead, the US government representatives have clearly said that they expect India to increase imports of American oil, gas, as well as aircraft in order to bring down the trade surplus, along with the demand to zero out oil imports from Iran, which is simply unreasonable. Given the rise in international fuel prices, as well as the falling rupee and the strengthening dollar, it would hurt India dearly if it were to stop oil imports from Iran at this point in time. Adding to this, there is no commitment of US on India's concerns over its investment in the Chabahar port, as well as the issue of waiver under the CATSA Act to purchase Russian defense hardware. In this regard, India must ensure that its concerns are addressed by engaging with US in the following months in order to prevent the 2 plus 2 dialogue from being a one-sided affair. The final issue in news today is that the Supreme Court has refused to stay the amendments passed to the SC/ST Act, which, as you know, were passed to restore some of the original provisions under the Act, like, for instance, the provision on anticipatory bail. I have already covered the issue in great detail in my previous news analysis videos, and I request those who have missed it to please go back and watch the same. On that note, I'm wrapping up today's news analysis. Do like, share, and comment to support this initiative. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.